Okay, all right, this is Jean again, and I had mentioned in my last video that I was going to show you a quick tip workaround for creating bridges in lettering for stencils. I don't know if you're like me and you've been looking for tips like this online. I was discouraged when all I found was really super technical tips using, say, Silhouette Cutter software or Cricut Cutter, which are the two leading craft cutters. And I was watching these videos and I was like, well, crap, that doesn't help me out at all. So I decided to create my own workaround using one of the editing tools which I'm most familiar with, and that's Picmonkey. So I'm going to go through and show you the steps that I use to create bridging on images and lettering for my signs. Now that I'm so excited, I've got a real cutter machine it's called a Titan, and I'm going to show you pictures of that later. But let's get on to adding bridges to the lettering using this really simple program. It's just a few steps. It takes a little bit of practice, but I don't think you'll have any problem with it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to picmonkey.com, and they do have a free trial. It is a paid program, but they do have a free trial program, so you can decide if you like it or not. So first thing we're going to do is click on Design. I'm going to click on Blank Canvas. No, let's go to Custom Size. I'm going to make this 500 by 2000 pixels. It really doesn't matter. Oops. You just want to make sure that it is similar to what your project's going to be. If it's a square, make it a square, because you can always resize it in the US Cutter software. So for this demo, I'm doing 500 by 2000 because my signs are about 5.5 by 20 inches, okay? That's like a standard size. So 500 by 2000, and we're gonna click Make It. Now, it starts off vertical. I'm happy with the canvas color, white, so I'm gonna apply that. Then I'm gonna go over here to the left and click Rotate, and we're just gonna make it horizontal. Okay, this is a great place to start in creating the stencil for my 5 inch by 20 inch sign. So I'm gonna hit Apply. Okay, now the next step is going to Text, which is on the left, and you wanna pick a nice clean line font. Some of the fonts in Picmonkey are handwritten. They look like they're pencil or chalk. You want to avoid those because there's just way too much detail in them. So depending on your theme, you want to pick a font that matches your theme. Like there's a really fun beachy font called Lackey Ready. I like using that one. This particular one, I'm going to keep it really simple for this demonstration. I picked my font. It's highlighted in blue. Now I click Add Text. Here we go. Here's our little box. See this little box here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sign that says beach with an arrow. So I'm going to hit my capital locks, and I'm going to type in beach like that. It's real simple. It's really small too. So what we're going to do is we're going to shrink that box a little bit, and we're going to enlarge it like this and pull like that. Move it into place, and move this out of the way. Make it a little bit larger. Remember, this is a 5 by 20 inch sign, so I want to kind of fill it in, center it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so here's my word beach. Now I want to have an arrow that points to the beach, so we're going to put an arrow next to it. So I'm going to go over here to the left where it has the butterfly for overlays. Click on that. I'm going to scroll down to arrows. Click on that. I'm going to pick a real simple arrow. So I'm going to click on that. And now here's the arrow. I'm going to move it into place. And I'm also going to resize that. So I grab a corner, make it larger, and move it into position. It doesn't have to be the exact same height as the word beach, but you want it close so that it looks kind of uniform. Okay? It's up to you. Remember, this is your design, so you make it how you want. Okay, so there's my arrow. All right. Now, to create the bridging, and first let me explain why bridging is so important. When you cut these in stencils, these little parts of, say, the bee they're gonna be loose. They're not tied to anything. And especially if you want to reuse these stencils, you can't have these parts floating around. See where the centers of the bee, the center of the A. And also, there's big flaps. See this where C creates a flap? The H has flaps. Those will weaken over time if you're going to reuse these stencils. So we're going to put a bridge here too to secure them. Any part that you think can move around or lift while you're painting it, you want to go ahead and add a bridge. So we're going to do that right now. I'm going to go back to overlays and I'm going to click on geometric. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick a rectangle and I'm going to click on that. Okay, now it added it here onto the design and it's black and it's big. We don't want it that big. We're going to make it as skinny as we can get, like this. And I'm also going to make it vertical. I'm going to apply this same overlay to all the letters. Okay, so we're going to make it a little bit longer. Pull it longer because I want it to be able to go. I want to keep this really simple. So I want it to be able to stretch across the entire letter. Okay, so once I'm happy, I'm going to make it fairly straight. Doesn't have to be perfect. Fairly straight, and it's crossing over. I'm going to make it a little skinnier. Let's do that. Okay, once you're happy with the size and shape, now I'm going to turn it white because I want it to be the same color as the background. Okay. So I'm going to lift this up, click on color 2, then I'm going to go down here to white. I'm going to turn it white. Okay, there. See, now that little bridge overlay is white. Okay, you want to keep it a little bit fat so that you can manipulate it in the program. If it gets too skinny, it gets technical. With practice, you can make them smaller. But this bridge, this is fine. I might make it let's make it just a little bit skinnier. And it takes, like I said, you got to play around with it a little bit. There we go. Ooh, that's skinny, but that looks really good. Okay, good. This is a good size. Now, I'm over my overlay. I want to right click, and down here it says duplicate. Whoop, now I got 2 of them. Now, I hover over that. I use my left clicker, and I move it to the next letter. Now, you see what I did? I've got a bridge here, here, and here using one overlay. I'm going to do the same thing. I want to secure these flaps on this E. See, now these won't float around. Now I want to do the same thing here. So I like where that's placed. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it kind of centered a little bit. I'm going to right click on that overlay again, and it says duplicate. I click duplicate. Now I got another one. So I'm going to drag this to the letter A like that. Okay. Now I make sure I'm hovering over again. I'm going to duplicate it again. Right click, duplicate, grab this one. I'm going to go to my letter C. Okay, like that. Right click, duplicate. I'm going to drag it to the letter H. And that one's got an anchor now too. One more time, I'm going to go ahead and do a bridge on these points just to make it sturdier. So we're going to right click on that. And we hit duplicate. And there we go. Yeah, the little bridges, remember, they don't have to be perfectly straight to be functional. Okay, now we're done with that. Okay, now you see how we've got bridges on all the loose parts, all the flaps that might weaken over time, and every letter has its own little bridging, and also the arrow. Okay, so I'm happy with what I see. Now, in this program, the same with a lot of other programs, you have layers. So these little white areas are separate, the black lettering is separate, and the background is separate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the bottom of the page, click on the layers, and I'm going to flatten this whole thing and make it all one image. So I'm going to click on flatten image. And there it is. It's all combined. So this is one image now, background and everything. It's ready to download to my desktop and upload into the US Cutter software, where I can size it properly to a 5.5 inch by 20 inch background. I can make this longer. I can make it taller. I can manipulate it on that US Cutter software very easily. And then I vectorize it on that software. There's plenty of, when you get the software, there's plenty of support and information to help you do it properly. If I can do it, I know you can do it. So This is my simple workaround for creating bridges in lettering and other images. And I hope you got a lot of value out of it, and I will talk with you later.